Hey, everybody. It's Karen Hutton. And today we are going live with purpose. We started talking about purpose last week, and we're going to continue. Today is Friday, July 23rd. No better day to talk about purpose, photography, and what it all means, right? Today, I have my very first guest as part of this Friday series that I'm doing, and that is Frederick Van Johnson. I'm just launching into this thing, even though everybody's just coming in, and Frederick is asking to come in. Imagine that. He wants to come in now. I'm going to talk about him to his face. So right now, we're going to just go for it. You should be bouncing in here soon. And there he is.
Hey, Karen, what's going on?
Life is going on. You're going on and on and on.
And on and on and on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good to see
It's
you. It's good to
good.
see you. Where are you at? In a park? What are you doing?
I know, right? It's my backyard, really.
That's not even fair.
I know. I haven't been feeling that good in the last few days, so I was like, I want to go sit outside today. So I'm
Good
sitting
idea.
outside.
I feel you, and I'm right there with you. I need some sunshine too.
Right? I mean, yesterday I felt lousy, but I went and sat out in the sun for like 10 minutes, just like, and I felt better after I did that.
Yeah, well, I was in the sun, as you know. I was in Vegas yesterday and drove back, and man, let me tell you, not a fan. Not a fan of the heat.
No,
Not
the
a fan
heat.
of, and we were in a casino, one of the casinos that still has gambling and smoking inside. So
Oh,
it was just like, I mean, the whole thing, Karen, like with oxygen machines and people on the slot machines at 3 a.m.
oh my God. I've never understood that, even less now. And you know what? You know what else I hate? I talked last week. We were talking about the penumbra. Okay, so like in photography or like a visual, the penumbra is where there's shadow and light, and then there's that space right there where it's kind of in between, and it can be both, and there's mystery there. No mystery in the penumbra idea, where the casino air and the outside 120-degree air meet. That
It's
little
it is not good.
mm.
I think I saw this. I'm not sure if I saw it or not, but because you know how they have it set up, so you have to go from the parking garage through the casino to the elevators to get to your room. So
Yeah.
on that little jaunt, I think I saw a person at one of the slot machines with an oxygen tank on the left and a cigarette.
Okay, aside from the fact they could blow themselves up, okay,
And I'm
just
like,
saying.
yeah, I'm like, really? I mean, that would be poetic, though. You're in there trying to win $1 million
Oh,
to change your life while, you're going to make a crater in the casino.
is that all bad? I'm not sure.
No. Is that Darwin? That's
Is
Darwin
that
at work, right
remind me? Is that a bad thing? I'm not. Can you just tell me? I'm
there. No,
fixing. It's my face is totally dark out here. If I don't
no, you look
have
fine. You look
have I
fine.
know, but I just moved and I just yeah. There we go. I just wanted to get comfortable because
There we go. Hey,
So
you
I
know
was
what?
gonna
You
what
know what this is, right? You know what this is?
what
This is my very first Instagram live in
that
the
was just
history of me.
that was in the history of me. That's exactly what I was just going to tell everybody. I was just getting ready to introduce you. So Frederick is an Instagram live virgin. So take that in, okay?
Be
It,
gentle.
be kind, be gentle, and so anyway, so Frederick and I have been friends for has it been 20 years?
It's been somewhere in there. I mean,
It's been a
yeah,
long time, and
yeah.
we're just
I was like, I don't know. I was a kid when we met. So,
you still are. Oh, you just
yeah.
act like no,
No, no, no, no. No,
no,
no.
so
I'm not a kid because I have to wear these, and when I read stuff, every day it's getting further.
oh, that means bifocal.
It's
Oh,
okay. I embrace it though. It's
that's
good.
good. That's
Yeah.
good that you embrace it. Um, So we've been buddies for a long time. Frederick is the man, the mind, the king behind This Week in Photo, or TWIP, as we
Yeah.
call it, which is, I mean, it's just been phenomenal for years and years. And, and we joke and laugh, and we still have that show we haven't done yet, Coffee and Cream,
We are
which
doing coffee and cream.
we're
Coffee and cream
doing it.
happen.
We
Yeah.
may be we may be 80 and 70 something respectively. I won't tell which one, but that's okay because we're gonna do it one day.
It'll just be bitter coffee and curdled cream.
Oh, did I just laugh too loud for the audience? Oh my God!
So we gotta do the show before that's the title, right? It's gotta be,
Yeah, it does. Before actual curdling occurs.
No one likes curdled cream. Say it.
I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about that word now. Everything I do, am I curdled yet?
Uh-huh.
Okay, wait.
Uh-huh.
I know you're bitter. No, I'm just kidding. You're not.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta make me cry. I'm laughing so hard.
That's my goal. My only goal is to make you cry. But Frederick, so I wanted to actually start this off because so last week I did a show, just me yapping about purpose. Because
Yeah.
you know me and my woo point of view about things. Because I really think I'm watching comments come in case there's something we need to answer. I really think, at least for people who are pursuing life, art, photography, with any kind of how do I put my own stamp onto it, whether it's signature, my own voice, or whatever,
Mhm.
kind of have to go back to, well, why? What am I doing? What is my purpose? Now, purpose can be something as deep as, like I told my big deep story, the column of light and that whole thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
But not everybody, it isn't like that for everybody. Some people just want to make people happy. Some people just, I don't know, whatever. So you weren't in that conversation. So I wondered, if you were to think about what you do and who you are with as purpose, and you're so, you have such a signature way and your own voice, and you have a voice and all that, what, like, I've
Why?
never heard you talk about it. So
Yeah.
what's
What's
your
the
purpose?
why? What's the
What's the
why, right?
why? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people say, yeah, I have this great master plan and everything's planned out and, I got this 5-year plan. I'm going to be here. Oh,
Yeah.
you can, and I have kind of a sketch of a plan, In fact, there it is.
Hmm.
There. Look, there's a whiteboard back there.
Oh my gosh. I don't even have that.
So,
Jeepers.
yeah, yeah, but in the reality of it all is it's everything is an experiment, and it's not a straight line, right? Nothing is a
Mm-mm.
straight line. It's all kind of sailing. You're tacking from point to point and adjusting as the winds change and the ocean currents change and you change, right? My interests change over time. I get bored
Yep.
with things and want to do something else. So yeah, so I have a North Star of where I'm trying to go, and that North Star, generally speaking, is, I want to make sure that me and mine are financially taken care of, the whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs stuff, make sure all that's taken care of. And my definition, and I want to be rich, right? And my definition of rich is not, I'm Kanye West buying mansions and all that. My definition of rich is being able to say, you know what? Man, I really want that new 360-degree camera. Can I get it? Yeah, I want to be able to just get it, right? And not have
Yeah.
to well, if I save for 3 months. So
Mm-hmm.
that's part of it. And then the other
Yep.
part of it, like my ship in the bottle, is entrepreneurialism and business building and marketing. I enjoy all that stuff, right? So TWIP is the front end. So TWIP is the product. The back end is all the business processes and business meetings and sponsor meetings and affiliate promotions and all that stuff. That's like it's almost like a gamification for me
Mm-hmm.
of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It's like, some people like to play Call of Duty or whatever, or Fortnite, to get to a certain level. I like to write proposals to see if I can generate money from a blank sheet of paper. Right?
Wow.
So,
No wonder. Yes, explains so much about you.
it's
That's
true. It's fun.
well,
I've been doing
okay.
this since I was a kid, though, Karen. Since I was a kid, I was the kid that had the lemonade stand. I was the kid. I was the kid that had the paper out. I was the kid that, way back when, I started a business called. This is when I was still in high school. called Express Grocery Delivery. And this was in Illinois. I was living in the suburbs of Illinois. We had a senior citizen home that was, adjacent to the neighborhood we lived in. It was bicycle distance away. So one day I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I delivered groceries to those people that can't get out to buy their groceries, and I'll charge them a fee, and of course they're going to tip because I'm a cute little kid, right?
Oh
So
my God.
I printed out flyers with the little tear off things and put it on the bulletin board in there. And my dad gave me this was back when we had landlines, right? So my dad set up, he sprung for an extra phone line. Remember, you could have the second
Yeah.
phone line in the house. So I had my own phone number with the own
Oh,
voicemail, the whole 9 yards, and it worked. There was some flaws in the plan because capacity and growth, but it worked. And this was pre Webvan and pre. Remember Webvan, the grocery delivery service, and
I don't
Peapod?
remember Webvan. I remember some of the early ones, but not that one in
Yeah.
particular. Excuse
Peapod was
me.
another one. Those startups that did the grocery delivery. So this was like decades before that. But yeah, that's just the entrepreneurial side of me has always been there. It's like, how do you do stuff?
In all the years I've known you, I've never heard that whole story.
That's right.
There's just so many layers. That's incredible. So here's something I was curious about, especially with you, because you always tell me they're for real.
Yeah.
So last week when I was talking about purpose, like how I am, I'm like, oh, my God, spiritual and all this kind of thing, and being of service to people and being of
Hmm.
service to the light and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel so? Like, I get the part where you said, and I like the thing about the North Star, because that's another way to think of it. Like, because everything, you're right, everything changes. We kind of like morph, and oh, we like that better, or that worked, or whatever. But you always have that sort of North Star, which is taller than all of it, which doesn't really matter how you get there, you just get there.
Yeah.
um is your North Star taking care of your family, giving something back to people, inspiring people? Because you do.
Yeah.
Does that just sort of happen all by itself, or do you actually
I
think
don't
about
I
that
don't think
stuff?
you can box it into one thing. I think that the North Star may seem like a single point of light that you're going towards, but as you get
Mm-hmm.
closer to it, it might be a galaxy, right? So
Right.
there's
Yeah.
a bunch there's a bunch of things in that point, that North Star, and in mine are of course family first and foremost, right? And taking care of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But like they tell you on the airport, or when you're sitting on the plane, make sure your seatbelt is fastened before you help others, right? So I need to make sure that my mental health and my happiness and all that stuff is working properly before I can feel like I can, paddle and give some throttle towards that North Star. So for me, that North Star is a constant. It is, this geeky stuff that I do with the podcast. It's hanging out with good friends like you. It's traveling. All that stuff is all in one kind of bundle that I enjoy doing. And the trick of it all is, and when I left corporate America, it was, I think you and I may have had this conversation a decade ago or something. But when I left Adobe, I built a spreadsheet called Operation Fireproof because I got left. I was part of the 800-person layoff at Adobe, right? So I go
Mm,
home
forgot
and I'm
about
licking
that.
my wounds and I'm like, okay, this can never happen again, right? So these layoffs are some BS. I can't have my future and my family's future tied to some dude that says, yeah, we can kill that position. So I built Operation Fireproof, which essentially was multiple streams of income that I
Right.
control. And those multiple streams could be from subscription revenue, from advertising revenue, from speaking, from affiliate gigs. But if one of them dries up and goes away, the ship doesn't sink. I was looking at
Right.
it. I was looking at like a submarine. A submarine is comprised of multiple chambers. So if they get hit and one section floods, the whole thing doesn't go down. They self-contain it, and the show goes on. My financial picture needed to be similar to that, where something dries up over here, you can still eat, right? You can still pay bills. When it's all tied up in corporate, for me at least back then, everything was tied up in corporate. My entire identity was tied up in corporate. It was Frederick the Adobe guy. not
Right.
Frederick Van Johnson, right? So when I left Adobe, so did my identity, right? So it was, okay, who's Frederick now? Oh, just
Right.
some dude looking for a job. That's who Frederick is. So I wanted to fix all that, and so Operation Fireproof, that was kind of the beginning of it, and building a brand and building my name and putting my name out there and making it synonymous with TWIP and speaking and a certain level of quality and polish and all that stuff. So yeah, so it's all fun. It's all fun for me. So long, that was a long way around to answer your question, the North Star thing. The North Star isn't just one thing for me. It's a bunch of things that keep me going and keep me excited. In order for me to stay excited, I have to constantly shovel new challenges in there, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be let's spin up a new podcast, coffee and cream, or let's try a new piece of gear, or let's go on a trip to Iceland and take some pictures of some blue icebergs. It's got a,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all on that bedrock of photography and creativity and interacting with people, and hopefully the side effect or one of the primary parts of that North Star constellation is everyone's happy. I'm served, family served, audience is served, people get something out of it. I can up level other photographers that want to get in front of the TWIP audience. I can help them out. It all kind of works together.
I love that. I've always loved that about you because your net is very specific but very wide at the
Yeah.
same time. It seems
Hmm.
incongruous, but it really is, and it always has been.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
taught me a lot over the years that I'm just some of it, some of it I feel like I'm just now being able to implement. But so then, given that, what would you tell like artists and photographers who, I don't know, want to um, find their purpose, you know, weave that whole idea that you just explained into their own business, whether it's like it's a little different if you're amateur and part-time versus full-time, but there are threads that are going to be the same no matter what.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think the best way to answer that is there, it's not binary for me, right? You can't say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, do these things. Excuse me. A lot of it most of it is experimental. And I think if you switch your mindset from a place of specificity, meaning you don't necessarily like give yourself permission to not specialize, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always hear that you got to be the best at one thing and be known for that one thing and just do it better than anyone else and the money will flow in and you'll be happy and live happily ever after. In my experience, it doesn't necessarily work that way, right?
Right.
Because you could,
Mm-hmm.
you know, coming out of that Vegas mentality, you could be playing roulette and it could be your ball could land on the wrong square, right? So if you point your energy at one thing and it happens to be the wrong thing, then you've wasted a lot of time.
No
Instead,
kidding.
yeah, give yourself permission to experiment. I look at everything like that, right? Most things, maybe not personal relationships. But
I'm really
I'm gonna
glad you
experiment
clarified
with
that.
her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Although I'm
work
sure in
wise,
everybody's life there is that moment, but
yeah.
nevertheless, yeah, yeah.
But like in photography, give yourself permission to not be genre specific. You can still love portraiture, but why not experiment with landscape and be excited about what Karen Hutton is doing and all this stuff, right? And try it. You don't necessarily have to say, well, yeah, I don't do that. Or a lot of people poo-poo wedding photography. Like, oh, I can never do that. I got to deal with brides on the weekend. No, why not try it? Just play around and try it before you dismiss it. You
Right.
may love it. You may be one of those people that just love. I got a ton of friends that just love shooting
It
weddings.
and it might be the very thing that you find your voice in. You might find a whole new way of doing it and you never even thought of until you tried.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
isn't like you
exactly.
have to sign on to anybody's train. Because honestly, I do the same thing whether I'm shooting wild horses or landscape or travel or the occasional person or whatever. It's all the same. I mean,
Hmm.
and it's been such an education to jump into all these different genres. I'm so glad you said that. That was
Yeah,
really good.
and you can do
That's
it now,
really
right?
cool.
I mean, even if you're doing it on a professional basis, because people may say, "Well, I'm on Facebook and everybody knows me as this on Facebook. How can I now start showing this? It's going to make me look like a jack of all trades, master of none," right? You can have individual profiles that are siloed, on, you know, with websites or whatever. So you could have your dog photography experiment and then your portrait, and then maybe you want to try out real estate photography with some 360 video or, you know, photography like that. You could have a vertical associated with that. Again, back to Operation Fireproof, right? So
Right.
and now you have revenue streams coming from all these places, and you're testing yourself to see what you like and what you don't like. So now you can say, yeah, I think I really do like this real estate thing. Let me do more of that and less of those. And pretty soon one will emerge and you're happy. There you go.
So like, let's say you decide to do the dogs, the real estate, and the travel, whatever, and you got your three silos, you got your three websites. Now it comes, this is where most of us artists start to go, is marketing, marketing all those.
Yeah.
How do you,
Yeah, I mean you baby steps, right? So
yeah.
if you're gonna say tackle three things, and take all of this with a grain of salt, right? This is just some dude talking, right? But if you're gonna
Some really smart dude talking.
just say it, just say it.
Oh,
I'm no,
yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
sage.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're gonna tackle three things, you don't necessarily have to go whole hog 100% on all three because it's simple math. You can only go, you know, 33% on all three of them. So just look at it like that, and just look at it as, okay, I'm kind of walking through the paces of what it would look like. Again, giving yourself
Mm.
permission to experiment, right? So if you're looking at it as experimental, maybe you have your primary, that's you have this thing that you're doing that's already generating revenue. That's not necessarily an experiment, but there's experimental aspects to it. But if you're
Hmm.
trying something else, just say, yeah, let me see what it would look like. I don't have to do it. I'm not committed to it, but I want to see what it would look like if I was to, you know, go into model photography. And
Right.
what does that look? What are the steps necessary to do that? I got to figure out how to, you know, where did the models come from? What kind of lighting do I need? Do I need full frame, or can I do it with micro four thirds? And you know, all the different questions that pop up when you start testing something. Invariably, what's going to happen is you may love that, you may hate it, but at the end of it, you will know if you love it or hate it. But that journey will reveal a ton of things that you didn't know that you can probably apply to your primary thing over
Right.
here. You're like, oh, I figured out this whole Calendly scheduling thing now. I could use that over here. Let's just, you know. So it's a
Yeah.
growth thing. It's kind of a growth exercise.
So, and you could, if you decided to do three, you could pick a template, maybe just change the colors on each one so that,
Yeah.
oh, here comes our hawk. My hawk that comes and gets a drink is here. I'm sorry, I just had to
What?
have a moment.
Where's the hawk?
The hawk is, I don't know if you can see this. She's on the bird bath. Where is it? You see, it's kind of, it looks so much further. Where'd it go? So it looks so much further away. This is really lame the way I'm doing this.
Oh, I see him.
Do you?
Yeah, I see him. He's in your upper right third.
Yeah, yeah. That's her. That's Lady Hawk. I have pictures of her. Whoops. So she comes in and she takes sometimes. Oh, now she's gonna poop. Look at that. Watch this. Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So that's our hawk. She comes and does that, and then takes a drink and off in a bath. And I tell you that bird knows how to bathe. Let me tell you.
That is
She
awesome. Well, she
she
better
gets
bathe
it.
after that. That was
I
the
know,
thing.
right? Well, that's why if she starts splashing, oh, now my tripod's gonna like do this thing. Anyway, so if she starts really splashing around, I'll turn it back over there. She's awesome. We wait for her every day. She's gotten so comfortable here, she'll actually lay on the DG, put her wings out, and dry them.
Nice.
I don't think she'll do that today because we're talking.
Living out in nature. Look at you.
I know. I love it. I love it. So
Yep.
So this whole thing, you could do like three websites, have the same template, and just change the colors, which makes it simpler because artists always freak out. Oh my God, I've got to come up with a new design, and it's got to be
Yep.
all fancy. No, it can be simple. It can be super simple, and
Yeah.
I think
And I
that's
would
really
suggest
brilliant.
that, right? I would suggest keeping it. Make if you're going to do multiple brands,
Uh-huh.
make them derivatives of your main brand. You know, color scheme.
Which is brand you.
Right. Right. Like my colors are, you know, kind of a maroon, red, and black. And
Right.
I like sans serif fonts, like thick, heavy fonts, like Futura, extra bold, those kind of fonts. So
Mm-hmm.
you can execute another logo using those same raw materials, and they all look similar. They'll
Mm-hmm.
all flow together. Even if like with the This Week in Photo website, you know, it's WordPress. I could take that whole website and just clone it right now and make another one and say, this week in podcasting, right? And change it. It's now another tangent that I'm experimenting with. It's going to be different challenges, different guests, the whole nine yards. So, but you're not going through the whole exercise of, oh crap, I got to build another logo and I got to do this.
Right.
Just make it easy on yourself. Again, being experimental. And if it sticks, then you can say, yeah, okay, I like doing this. Let me put a little bit more effort in here. Maybe I do need a
Yeah.
logo. Maybe I need, but baby steps. Put your toe in the water first.
I love that because so many of us just, immediately, especially those of us that are like, artistic and visual, we kind of like create this big thing and then freak ourselves right the hell out. So we don't
Yeah.
even want to try. And I don't know. I do that.
I do
I'll
that
talk
too.
to
I
it.
get into analysis paralysis 100%. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I have this idea and then we're all the same way, right? Well, I get this idea and then I start researching it and looking at YouTube videos about it and this and asking questions and then maybe I'll try a little bit. You just got to dive in and start
Yeah.
experimenting and play.
Just you, oh God, it just went out of my mind. You said something I'm going to circle back to in a minute. Um, Wait a minute. Maybe I'll do it right now if I can remember what it was. I hate it when I do that. You open your mouth and you go, whoa, the thought you just vocalized is gone now.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to.
Oh my God.
Well,
Um,
while you're thinking of that,
yeah.
guess where I'm going on Monday?
Where?
I'm going to visit our buddy Scott Kelby in
In Florida?
Oldsmar in Florida.
Oh, what are you
Yeah.
going to do? What are you going to do there?
We're recording a course on time travel.
Wait, okay. Explain. Explain.
Exactly. See that?
So tell us, it's going to be a
Okay,
class?
so time travel for photographers is the name of the course, and I've kind of done some talks on this before, so a lot of people may be familiar with it. But it's a multi-segmented thing, and basically the course goes into talking about multiplicity and how to do that type of photography, where it's multiple views, like Karen all over her backyard, one Karen feeding the
Right.
hawk, and another Karen over here doing yoga. Yeah, so that's multiplicity, and then the next level, there's multiple levels, so long exposures, and then cinemagraphs, and those sorts of uh, I call them kind of next level time travel photography, where the time travel name comes in where you as a photographer are using your camera as a time machine
Yeah.
to manipulate space and time, right? So instead of everything happening instantaneously, you snap the picture and boom, you got it. Now you got it, but now you can freeze this and make this part continue to play on the timeline, play in motion.
Wow.
So you're like essentially, I mean, if you look at astrophysics or physics, right? Space, time, light, it's what makes everything, right? And our
Right.
cameras allow us to capture a little bit of that.
That's our medium, light and
Yeah.
time. I always say that.
Light
Yep.
and time. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's time travel, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you look at the stars, it's an exposure, right? It's an
Mhm.
exposure that's still coming towards us that hasn't been made yet because light is relatively slow, over great distances.
Mhm.
So this, yeah, to not geek out too much about it, the course talks about, it goes into a little bit of theory and my mindset around just light itself and how it behaves and how you as a photographer can manipulate it. And then
Uh-huh.
we go into some practical photography. We're going to be kind of popping around the Tampa area doing some photo
Really?
sessions. And then we'll go back to the studio and do some post-processing, and Bob's your uncle. So yeah, it's
Oh
going to be
my
fun.
God. I love that. I love that. Is this your first Cowboy One course?
This is, yeah, believe
Oh.
that, right?
So
Yeah.
you haven't worked with them before on all this. They're
No,
so
no.
awesome. They are so awesome to work with. I adore that crew. They're just so good and just so great to work with. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you're going to have a blast. So are you there for the week?
Yeah, I'm there Monday through Thursday-ish. I may push it to Friday the 30th because I think it's Boeing. Someone out there is doing a launch. So a rocket launch.
Really?
Yeah, so I may want to stick around and get the rocket launch,
One of the billionaire launches? Yeah, they're all
No,
launching.
no, a real one, not a
Oh, really?
one that's actually going to space, not just knocking on the door. So
That's a whole other live, isn't it?
sorry,
Oh.
sorry, Jeff, and But yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. It'll be an experience in either way. So, and I have a couple of friends in Florida that I'm going to catch up with. So, a much needed trip after this last trip. Let me tell you.
Oh, we won't go into that at the moment.
Yeah,
But
palate
yeah,
cleanser.
yeah, no kidding. I'm getting my timepiece up here so I can, because I know, because Frederick has to go. He can only stay for 45 minutes. So I'm going to make sure that I get him out of here on time.
It's
Um,
okay. It's okay.
you reminded me earlier when you were talking about experimenting, because I do a lot of that sort of thing. And I did a thing, and I wish, I'm trying to think when I did it, because it was a number of years ago. And I mean, websites were out, but I didn't make a website for it. But Little Galleries, I don't know if you remember my doing that project.
No, I don't
So
remember that.
I don't know. I had this wild heritage because I do voiceovers professionally, and I had to have an agent. She's up in Oregon, and she was really supporting my transition from voiceover into photography at the point that I was doing it. So I was like trying to think of what kind of projects, use both. And of course, there was Stuck on Earth,
Yeah,
Trey Ratcliffe's app that I did. So
yeah.
that was a cool crossover, voice into photography. So then I was like, well, what else can I do that would be sort of original? And I came up with this idea of, you know, okay, this was the Google Plus days, right? So we all
Yep.
knew each other.
Yep.
And so I think I made 8 or 10 of these where I took a photographer and took a whole bunch of their images, made a film out of it, and narrated it. And sometimes it was poetic, and sometimes it was real abstract, in all different music, and it was really interesting. And so they were like a little gallery of
That's
their
cool.
work. And then, actually they're still on YouTube, but we took it a step further because we thought this could be interesting. So she was in a building at the time, my voiceover agent, that had a janitor's closet that what nobody was using. Janitors weren't even using it. So we cleared it out and made it a little tiny theater for the little gallery,
Oh, cool.
little
Yeah.
gallery. And then it played on a loop. Um, so people, who came in, because there were businesses on that floor of that building they had clients that came and went, so they could come in and, we're not ready for you. You can go watch little galleries for a minute,
Yeah.
and we did it, and it was like really cool. And we were like, is there a there? Don't know what that there is, but that was interesting. So you
Experimental.
try experimental. It was totally experimental,
Hmm.
and I'm really glad I did it because I learned a lot and it was fun and unique. And a lot of times it isn't even about the next iteration of that idea. It's just the energy you get just from having completed an idea, because you have these ideas. See, I'm of a mind that inspiration should, like, it happen on the inside, right? Your why, your purpose, or whatever. And then you
Hmm.
have an idea and it comes out here, and then you put action to it and you manifest it. Then it happens. Then you go, what do I think of that? And you make some decisions, and you bring the information you got and the inspiration you got inside, throw stuff away, keep some stuff, and do the next iteration.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people go, oh, that didn't work, and then the whole cycle stops. And you
Well,
just
well, we've been taught that, right? So we've been taught that. We've been taught
yeah.
what's in my head. If at first you don't succeed, try again, right? So we hear that, and then on the other side of that coin, we hear, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Expect. So should I try again, or am I insane if I try again, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, and I think both of those are BS, right? I think it
Yeah.
is just do you and do your thing. If you don't do it right the first time, like Tony Robbins used to say, back when I was like 20 years ago, I think I listened to the whole personal power thing that Tony Robbins did. And one of the things I took away from that cassette series was,
Wow, you're
was
that old.
the 8-track series was there is no failure, right? So the idea of there is no failure, there's only failure if you don't try. That's the
Hmm.
only failure. If you don't attempt something, then you've automatically failed. If you attempt something and get a result that you weren't expecting, i.e., that you perceive as failure, you still have the education of what it took to get that, and you still have the education of what fails. So if you try again, don't do that. Try something different, right? So Same
Or
thing with
try some
photography.
piece of it different, because sometimes there's a thread you're like, well, that part worked, but
Yeah,
these things didn't, so we need to shift those. And I think
right.
that's the part people get so either or. Everything's so
Yeah,
polarized, especially today. But I mean, everything's so this or that, where in fact the truth is it's more like threads of a
yeah.
tapestry. So you got to weave a different way
Yeah,
or what
or it's
have you.
like photography. When we're learning photography, you're like, "Oh, I just took a picture and it's way too dark." Okay, I give up. So,
Right? I mean,
maybe
hello.
open up the aperture, maybe longer shutter speed or something. Try something different, and then learn. Right? So it's the same
Hmm.
thing. It's the same thing. I love this
What do
stuff.
you, so what do you feel like? Okay, you have this huge, the thing that people, I don't want to say they forget, but you're always highlighting ideas and people and technology and giving information. And you don't, I don't know, I mean, you and I talk about everything else. We don't talk about everything else but photography. But what's happening in your photography these days? What's next for Frederick, photographically speaking?
Yeah, so right now it is so this next phase in the yeah, because you've seen many versions of me, right, over the
Yeah.
years. And
Uh-huh.
they're basically the same version, but they're evolutions
Yeah.
and iteration. The next thing is kind of what we're doing here. I've been my social media input has been purposefully anemic, right? So I don't do a lot on social. Like I said, this is my first live, and I haven't been on. I have a TikTok account, but I've not posted anything there. Just all that stuff. So that is the next kind of thing that I'm pushing for on my kind of personal development spreadsheet. On the business side,
To
as you
wait, to
know,
spread into social more? Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes, to be more active
Oh,
on social,
I
and I've
see.
been told that I'm too private. That I need to open up my life to people more, as if anyone cares, right? So
Everybody cares.
no one cares. That's why I haven't
I
done it. Like
care.
no one cares what.
I
Oh, you want to see me making coffee, or you want to, do people
It
really
doesn't
care?
have to go there. There's this whole other. Oh my God, you and I have to talk. Okay.
We have to talk. We have to talk. That's my roadblock. That's a roadblock of if it's not photography related, why would people care to listen?
Yeah.
Do you really care that? Do you want to see me walk into the park? Do you really want to see me going to In-N-Out Burger? You're right, like that real stuff. But I'm told that some people care about that. So I don't know. I'm curious. You and I have to talk about it.
Yeah, we have to talk about it. I'm learning a lot too, honestly. I had a big dip, shall we say? Just I don't know. I don't want to go into all that, but anyway, had a dip, had a bit of a dip. So I'm kind of
Hmm.
coming out of my dip, and I have there's a I'm learning a lot. Let's put it that way
Yeah.
in about all that stuff. So I'm happy to share it. Maybe we can play in that space, kind of
Yeah.
chat it back
Absolutely.
and forth. I don't know. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So just a new way of going about it, because the thing I remember, back in Google Plus days, you were always telling me build on your own land, don't build
Yeah.
anything on somebody else's platform that can go away. And of course,
She listened.
I did listen. I wasn't able to accomplish that when Google Plus went away, but because I didn't quite know what I was doing yet,
Yeah.
and so now that
But
I
that was a
am,
good example.
yeah,
Google Plus was the perfect example of that. And what she's
yeah,
talking about, people, is the whole build on your own land idea, which is still valid today, was I think I used the phrase digital sharecropping, right? Where
yeah,
you're
you did,
yeah, where you're
yeah,
you're you're farming on somebody else's land, and when they get tired of you being on that land, they kick you off and you gotta go start somewhere else. That's social media in a lot of ways. And maybe that's why that's part of my hesitancy to jump into it podcast and my blog and all that, I own it 100%. My email list, I own it 100%. No one can run an algorithm that will say, hey, Frederick, when you send this email out, it's only going to go to this many people unless you pay. I don't have any of that. So the whole digital sharecropping or building on your own land idea is to look at it like your earth. If you
right,
look at it in an astrophysical perspective, you're building on your own earth, and everything else is a moon around your earth, right? So you've got Facebook as a moon, Twitter as a moon, Instagram as a moon, but you have to have your own earth. And my earth is my podcast and my blog and my email list and my membership community and all that. I control that 100%.
right,
Good and bad. I have all the responsibility, but I make all the decisions, right? And then the other things, which is that next page in the spreadsheet, right? The personal
mm-hmm.
development are those moons. My moons are severely underdeveloped. So now I need to put some resources
I
on
won't
those
repeat that in
moons.
public.
We need we need we need cities on the moon and on Mars and all, so I need to establish beachheads on these moons so that they can feed my planet, right? So
Exactly. That's exactly what they're for. So understanding how they work and which one does what. And yeah, we definitely got to talk. I got to hook you up with somebody I know.
yeah,
So, yeah, there's a big conversation there. Maybe we'll get on here again in future and have that conversation
I'm totally
because
game. I'm
because
totally game.
the
Oh,
stuff
and you know what? I gotta tell you, whenever we meet in person, I always show you some new gadget, right?
yeah,
Do you want
yeah,
to see my latest new gadget?
yes, of course I do.
It's not new. It's been out for a couple months, but this thing has blown. I took it on this last trip, and it has
Okay.
blown my mind.
Really?
It is,
What is it?
yeah, it's this right here.
What is that?
You may think that it's an AirPod case. It is not an AirPod case. This is an Insta360 Go 2 camera. Look at this. So, can you see this? Let
Serious?
me go. So it
Yeah.
opens up like a
Oh,
clamshell. There's the camera
oh,
inside. Look how big it is. Look for scale. Look at that.
yeah. You always
Okay,
like your.
here's an
I always have my
AirPod
big
case.
stuff. Yeah.
Look, here's an AirPod case next to it.
Oh my
4K video out of this thing. Well, it'll shoot 5K technically, and then it'll punch into 1080. But you open it up, and it does time lapse, it does slow motion, it's a crazy ass capable camera that you slip in your front pocket. But it gets better. This case is just a case. So this guy comes out of there,
What?
and now you have a little tiny camera like that is waterproof down to about 30 feet. So underwater. It's
Holy
magnetic.
cow.
It's magnetic, so you can stick it on stuff and remote control it from the case. It's just ridiculous. Even the case itself has little feet on it, like that.
Holy
So it becomes a
crap.
little tripod, so you can do little Instagram lives and everything from this thing.
Leave it to you. My God. So what brand and what's it called? What brand is it?
The
Where do you get
company
it?
is called the company's called Insta360.
Okay.
Insta360, and this product is the Go 2. Insta360 Go 2 has a little tripod socket on there, USB-C port for charging. It will last for 2.5 hours if you're shooting with it in the case like this. If you take it out of the case, this guy on its own can go for 30 minutes until you put it back in the case, and it charges itself again in the case.
So you charge the whole case, like the whole
Just
earbud,
like
earbud.
AirPods.
Yeah.
Yep. Put in the case, plug it in, charge it up, you're good to go.
Where'd you get it? How much and what did it retail for?
This was around $300. I bought it on Amazon, but
Uh-huh.
but check it out. Go to the Insta360 site. I think it's insta360.com. This is the Go 2. So they had a Go, which was the Go 1, I guess, which was the predecessor. It was okay. It only let you record like 30-second clips. This one lets you record, I think, up to 15 minutes at a time. So you could stick it on your body and just tap it like Iron Man. It'll record a 150-degree view.
150. That's what I was just going to ask you what the view was. And
Yeah,
is
but
that
it's
is
cool.
that like
It has this reframing technology in there where it'll record essentially a everything sphere, kind of like a
uh-huh.
360 camera, and then in the software you can go in later and recompose. So, oh, I was cutting Karen's head off. Let me pan up a little bit. You can do that because it's recording the whole scene, not just that little 16 by
Oh.
9 rectangle.
So you're recording more and then you can frame it however you want it for final output. And it
Yeah,
doesn't, so does it, what do you call that when it loses
pixelate.
resol yeah, well, so what am I trying to say? So like my GFX does
Hmm.
all these different aspect ratios, but it's I can't remember the term, but so it does cut out some of the pixels in order to make these different ones.
Yeah.
Does that when you do the framing, is it losing resolution or losing,
Yes and no.
pixels?
There's enough resolution because it's shooting higher than 1080, right?
Okay.
So imagine it's shooting basically a square, right? The whole thing is kind of a rounded corner square that is shooting. So
Mm-hmm.
that gives you the ability to, and since the square is 5K, you're not going to lose resolution when you crop into it to take your 1080 feed out or your
I
1080
see.
window out of it. And because it's shooting square, that also means that you can have vertical video out of it in post if you want to. So,
Wow.
you're not locked into a 16:9 cinematic aspect ratio. You could say, oh, this is going to TikTok or Instagram. I need vertical. So you can just say, yeah, I want it vertical and move around within the vertical.
You
It's
do all that in the camera or in the software when it's connected to a computer?
Well, the camera records it and gives you basically the
Right,
full
right,
view of
right.
everything. But in the phone software is incredible. It's ridiculous. So you can do it all in the phone and edit and publish,
Oh,
or on the tablet.
oh,
And there's a robust free desktop app that if you really
jeepers.
want to get in and make sure that you're got everything dialed in, you can do it on the MacBook.
So
So
that's pretty huge. We were talking earlier about people, marketing and promoting themselves, and
yeah.
video is the name of the game. And it's
Yeah.
just sometimes it's just really a pain in the butt,
It
But this
is. So
sounds like it
this
would make
this
it
is part of
easier.
that. Frederick needs to do more social stuff. So instead of bringing my, big old cameras around or doing it all on my phone, I figure, why not have some fun with it and do it on one of these things? And that way,
Wow.
it's easy. This is always with me, right? So I don't
Right.
have to. Oh, did I do this or did that? Yeah, my phone is always with me, but the phone is great. Obviously, it's incredible out of the iPhone 12, but it doesn't give me that full frame of view and the ability to reframe and stick the
Yeah.
camera wherever I want it. I mean, this camera's waterproof. You can put it inside the microwave and open the door to get that out of the microwave shot, or in the fridge, or
Oh my
it's
God.
waterproof. It's waterproof, so you can put it in the bottom of a glass and pour water on top of it to get that shot. It's crazy. It's
Oh
crazy.
my God.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible. What an incredible share on that. I love it. I might actually get one.
I
Of course, I'll,
would. I mean, I
yeah.
think one of these should always be in the camera bag. It just makes sense. Even for like when you're doing tutorials and training and stuff, if you want B-roll, just stick this thing on a light post or something and roll and go about your business. And it
Oh
records
my
everything.
God. My
Yeah,
mind is like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm thinking of all these uses for it. That's super
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Okay, I know you have to jet. I want to honor that, but just take one more minute. And is there anything else you want to share with my people here that you just want to impart before you go?
Um, yeah, I think we've been hitting on all that. I think, the whole thing, and this was a personal milestone of mine to give myself permission to experiment, because I think it's an artifact of the ex Apple employee PTSD, right?
Yeah.
And the relentless, impossible pursuit of perfection,
Yeah. Not
which
to mention military. So,
and military, yeah, Air
yeah.
Force, right? So all
Yeah.
that, it's a battle to not be perfect. Not that I'm perfect, but you're always trying to make sure everything is as perfect as it can be before any humans see it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that has been my biggest hurdle to being on social media, to being more open about stuff, is because I'm always like, okay, it's got to be perfect. Is it ready? Do I look great? Okay, all right, let's go. Boom, roll it. 3 takes, 4 takes. Okay, let's edit it. Get the perfect version of that. Now it can go out to the world, and everyone will think I'm amazing, right? So
Yeah.
to flip that and just say, hey, I'm just working on this thing. Come check it out, right? That's excuse me.
Yeah.
That's hard for me to do that and to be open about it and not be polished. So I have to work on the let's not be polished part of me. So I'm
Yeah.
working on it.
That's what these lives are so good for, They're just
Yeah.
that's what I was telling you. You were like you were trying to figure out how to be perfect. I'm like, no, no, no. You just
Yeah.
show up.
Well, even before this, I'm like, well, I could just do it on the phone, but what if I do it and put this big camera in and run an HDMI cable over here and get my good mic in there, and we need some lighting, or
Oh my God.
then I said I had a little Karen on my shoulder, and I just put the camera on a tripod, and here we are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I sometimes, I often, hand hold it when I'm moving around. For this thing, I set it on a tripod, but that's it. That's all I do. Earbuds, that's it.
I need
And,
so help
and
me,
it's,
help me,
yeah.
Obi-Wan.
We'll be talking more, and maybe we'll get on here, and once we discover a few things, just share what we're learning along the way, because it really is it's different than how it was on Google Plus, and there's a different approach, and I'm
Yeah.
learning a lot about it, and us old people got to keep up. So
That's right. That's right. And I'll tell folks that the if you want to keep up with what I'm doing with this thing, and
right.
as I thaw my social media presence, I'm at Frederick Van on social media, so or on all platforms. So that's where the content will start showing up. So please be kind, because I'm shy, right?
Yeah. You know what? Publicly you're not shy, but personally you are.
I am.
I
I was a
know.
shy kid. I was a
Yeah.
shy kid. I was the kid that you're at some high school party or something, and you obsess all night about asking the cute girl to dance, and then as soon as you get the courage up, somebody else asks her.
Ah,
Like,
oh, my heart. Oh, that's sad.
that was me. And then my friend and I, my friend Montgomery, we were like peas in the pod in high school, and we're both the same, birds of a feather, right? So we're both the same guys, standing on the wall, listening to the music, trying to be cool. Say, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to that girl. I'm gonna go talk. No, in 5 minutes. Okay, after
Oh
this
my
song,
God.
I'm going over there, and then you go over there, and then it's too late, right?
Yeah.
Then you leave, and you're going home. Oh, I didn't want to talk to her anyway.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm too cool for school. That is on my bag anyway.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh,
So
you're
still working
cute,
on it.
Frederick. That's so
Work in
cute.
progress. We're all works
I
in
know.
progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to go back to the intelligence of our inner child because I think they were a lot smarter than we ever gave them credit for.
Oh my God. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
especially regarding purpose and how to do things and everything. So on that note, my friend, my dear friend, thank you so much for joining me and having this conversation. Everyone loves you. I do too. And have a great rest of your day.
My pleasure. My pleasure. See you, Karen Hutton.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.